Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's staying safe. We all thought we'd be through COVID by now, but we're continuing to work with it. And our guys they did a good job at the bowl game with COVID, and they're continuing to do the same. Our guidelines and protocol has not changed, so still the unvaccinated staff and players get tested once per week, and the vaccinated players do not get or staff do not get tested unless they have symptoms. I would like to start by thanking our seniors. Game was tough, and I didn't even think about that after the game, but these seniors have done a tremendous job to go from where we were 3 years ago to where they are today. And I thought they defeated UVA for the first time in the last 5 games, 4 years in a row. We had lost. They beat Miami for a 3rd year in a row. They beat a top 10 team in Wake Forest, and it's the first time we have beaten a top 10 team at home since 2004. They made their 3rd consecutive bowl, and that's the first time that's happened since 1998. The second time that's happened, since 1998, the 15-16 season through there. We had 4 consecutive bowl games. And we beat Duke. Seniors beat Duke 3 times in a row, which had not been happening when they first got here, and they beat State 2 out of 3. So transitions are always hard. I appreciate those guys staying with us. I appreciate the hard work that they put in, and even though they didn't finish this year like we wanted to, they did accomplish a lot of great things, and there's been a lot of talk about all the things they didn't do. I thought those have been obvious. We've talked about them. So I wanted to take a moment and talk about the things they did do and that they accomplished. Immediately after the game, I started really re-examining the program and looking at where we are after 3 years. And the first year was a tremendous year and much better than anticipated. And we were better than expectations. The second year, we went to the Orange Bowl. For the first time to go to a bowl like that in school history, or 71 years, and really proud of all the guys accomplished. And even without 4 of our best players in the Orange Bowl, had a chance to win against a top 5 team with 5 minutes left to go in the game. And then this year, I stated early that I thought the expectations were higher than they should be for us because of all the losses. Nobody ever wants to listen to that, and people were excited, and you embrace those expectations, but we didn't live up to them. And we've talked about that at nauseum. But after the tough loss at State with 1:57 left with a 9-point lead, and then the tough bowl game, Coach Bateman and I sat down. We talked Friday after the game, after the bowl game, about why we didn't improve like we wanted to in the 3rd year. And we have good players. And I love Jay Bateman. He and his family are special. He did so many great things for us here. He took a defense that was really struggling when we got here and completely turned it around. We played great most of last year, but we didn't have the year that we needed this year. So Jay's a great person and cares a lot about this place, and he and I on Friday morning decided to mutually split ways. And we felt like it was best for us moving forward. So I want to wish him luck, but more than anything else, thank him for all he did for our program in the 3 years that he was here. Immediately, I picked up the phone and called a guy that I trust and I care about deeply with his family, that we won a national championship together at Texas, in Gene Chizik. And I honestly said to Gene, I'm going to make a change. Jay and I mutually agreed to split. Would you like this job? And he said yes. He didn't ask me anything about the job. He didn't ask me what he was going to coach. He didn't ask me about the salary. He just said, yes, I'm in. I'll do it. The second thing he said is, if possible, I'd like to bring one person with me. And that's Coach Warren, Charlton Warren, who was here with him back in 2015 and 16, where they completely turned our program around and took us to the conference championship game. So in bringing Coach Warren, who I've heard so many wonderful things about since Gene mentioned his name, I've always heard about him, but I didn't know people that knew him, and I followed up, and it's just been really impressive with all the wonderful things people have said about Charlton. It made it where I couldn't keep Javon. So Javon DeWitt did a good job for us, but he got caught in the transition. And again, he's got a great family. I appreciate his 2 years and really want to wish him luck. But that was very, very unfortunate for him. We started out the year great on special teams. From mid-season on, we were inconsistent. We led the country in number of block kicks from our defense, but we also had too many block punts of our own. So that's an area we've got to do better. Larry Porter will take over the special teams coach position, and we will have all of our coaches involved throughout the staff with Larry. And Larry will start working with me on that process and how that will be structured immediately. In fact, we started this morning. Offensively, some people said, why didn't we change? Why didn't we make changes on offense? Well, we're averaged 35.2 points per game. We were 19th in the country. With our total offense, we were third in the ACC, or scoring offense. Total offense, we averaged 468 yards, which was 10th in the country, and third in the ACC. Rushing yards, we averaged 2,763 yards, 17th in the country, and first in the ACC. We've actually led the ACC in rushing for 2 consecutive seasons, and our 5,000-yard rushers over the last 3 years are the most in college football. So we know that we gave up too many sacks. We know that we had too many tackles for loss. But there's so many positive things that this offense has done, and they've scored so many points over the past 3 years that I'm going to get more involved, and I'm going to help in the areas that we need to fix. But there's a lot more areas that we've done exceedingly well than there are that we need to fix. So it's obvious that there's too many sacks and there's too many tackles for loss, and we can do a better job in the red zone scoring touchdowns instead of just kicking field goals. But as a program, we're really close. You go back to the opportunity to beat Pitt, first and goal from the 2 with 1:16 seconds left and didn't win. NC State, I said, 9-point lead with 1:57 left. You can't lose that game. So we're close, and the changes that we made, we feel like will be great changes to help us move forward. In hiring Coach Gene Chizik, we hired a 2-time national champion. There's only 6 coaches that have won a national championship currently coaching in college football, and 2 of them are on this staff. And Coach Chizik won it as an assistant with us at Texas, and then he won it as a head coach at Auburn. He had major influence, along with Coach Warren, when they were here in 2015 and taking the team to the ACC championship game. He was the National Coach of the Year at Auburn. He was the Broyles Award winner at Auburn and a finalist for the Broyles Award when he came to Texas. He's fundamentally sound. He commands the team. He commands the room. He's one of the best at defense I've ever seen. He's turned down head coaching jobs. In fact, he was supposed to coach the Birmingham USFL job this spring, but he's turned down college head coaching jobs. He's turned down numerous coordinators' jobs, and we're so lucky to have him here. He will introduce him when he gets up here, but he also brought Charlton Warren with him. Charlton's an Air Force graduate, which tells you something about his service to our country. He was with Special Forces for 10 years, and then he went back to coach at Air Force, and he came in here and made a huge difference with Coach Chizik and the defense here in 15. And then after here, he left and went to Tennessee, where he coached defensive backs and special teams, so he'll be involved with our special teams here. He went to Florida and coached corners, and he went to Georgia and coached the secondary, and we just hired him from the defensive coordinator's position at the University of Indiana. He had 4 defensive backs selected in last year's draft, including a first and second rounder. He also developed the number 9 overall pick for the 2020 draft, and he mentored a Thorpe Award finalist in 2019, and he's a dynamic recruiter. So they just got here yesterday. They've been in the process of meeting a few players. They'll really start that process tomorrow. I'm not going to answer questions because this is about Gene and about Charlton today, but Gene is going to come up. He's going to talk to you a few minutes and then answer your questions, and then he will introduce Coach Warren. Coach Warren will talk to you for a few minutes, and then he will answer your questions. So let's welcome Coach Gene Chizik.